Hello everyone, how's it going? I just thought I'd do another video. I've done a couple of quick videos on my solar, but thought I'd do a proper video on it now. Now it's all up and running. I've just got to do, well, basically change everything over now to 12 volts. I'm trying to get everything as off-grid as I possibly can, and I don't want to put a lot through my inverter because it just sort of like seems to be, well, it's a waste of energy really, isn't it? So the main thing is try and get everything as much as possible onto 12 volts in this shed, and yeah, we'll see where we go. But like I say, I've done in the previous video showing you my solar panels that I've got and a couple of other bits, but now I've got sort of everything there for a full setup. I've got now 370 watts of solar panels, and they're enough to keep my batteries topped up in the daytime if I'm just watching TV or just sitting out here not doing a lot. You know, I might have the radio on in the background, but that's about it really. That's all I really do in the shed, unless I'm doing a bit of soldering or working on a project. Then I might use a little bit more energy. I probably will use the inverter then. So from the start, I've wrote it all down what I've spent, just in case anyone's sort of interested in doing it themselves and seeing what sort of money it's going to cost. And it was a lot more expensive than I thought, but it was just it was paid for by me selling stuff that I didn't use, because you know, with hobbies you tend to over time collect lots and lots of stuff that you never ever use. I mean, it just got out of control. I was buying radios for the fun of it, and I ended up with about 10 radios that I didn't actually need, antennas that would never get used. You know, I've upgraded and just put to one side so they would never get used again. So although it is a lot of money, it was just a lot of dead money really, just sitting around. So I'm putting it to better use and a new sort of hobby and project. Right, so I've got the charge controller to start with the 100 watt solar panel. The 100 watt solar panel, if I remember rightly, that was £60 for the, yeah, it was the, let me just have a double check. Yeah, £60 for the first panel and £60 for the charge controller, so that was £120. Then I got it was like a kit, and that was a charge controller and everything else you needed just to set up in a van or something, and that was an 100 watt panel with everything. That was £90. Then I went and got an inverter. That ended up, it was free. It was £50, but it didn't cost anything. It was free because it blew up and I repaired it, and it was pence to fix, to be honest. I think I paid about £3 for the parts to fix it. It was a diode, and they come in a packet of 10. I think that was just about, it was dearer for postage. I think it was about £1.50 and another £1.50 for postage, so £6 there. And it was £3 for the £3 for the fuses that had gone. So yeah, £6 all in to repair it. So I got an inverter for £6. Then I went and bought another inverter, very stupidly, thinking that the inverter I got, I didn't really trust it. I didn't trust my repair job. It was just what's inside. It doesn't. It's claiming to be a 3,000 watt inverter, 6,000 peak. I'm probably going to put about 1,000 watts through it. I wouldn't put any more through it. So I went and bought another inverter. This one here. I'll just show you it. You might have seen it in the other video, but yeah, this one. Well, it turned out, I mean, I've done a bit of research on it, because this is faulty. It turned out it was faulty. Used it a couple of times, you know, just to check it, and the fault light comes on after a little while, and it don't work. And it's a modified sine wave one anyway, so it doesn't say that anywhere, and it doesn't advertise it as a modified sine wave anywhere, you know. So until you get the manual for it, download the manual and stuff, and then you think, well, that's not really good. I wouldn't want to use a modified sine wave radio inverter on my radios. It's not very good for them, and it's not very good for your TV or computer, laptop or whatever, which I would all use in here. So yeah, I'll repair it. I've seen lots of videos on how to repair them, so I'm pretty much sure I know what's wrong with it. So I'll repair it and hopefully sell it for what I paid for it and get some money back and buy something else to do with me solar. Yeah, the batteries. I got batteries, 2 batteries from the car boot, because I wanted to get everything done as cheap as I could. Not that I want to get it like a bargain system, but I didn't want to spend so much money just in case, you know, it wasn't really what I wanted, and I could, you know, in case I changed my mind, I didn't want to invest too much. But the batteries, they seem to be okay. They're not brilliant. I will replace them, probably with gel or lead acid. I certainly won't be going down the route of lithium batteries at the moment, because, you know, for 100 amp hour battery, you're talking 300, 400 pound, £350 the cheapest probably, and you want 2 of them. You know, at least. I would rather at the minute just buy, you know, lead acid, or if some gel batteries come up cheap, I'll get those if they're good. I don't use enough, I don't think, to warrant spending that amount of money. It's, you know, it is a lot of money. If you're using it for your house, or you're going to be, you know, you actually you want to be off grid, and say you was in like a camper van or a caravan for a long time, and you need a lot more energy, then maybe. But for a shed, and for just doing projects and a couple of hours in the evening chatting on the radio to my friends, no, I don't think it's worth it. And I'm going to stick with, like, you know, batteries. I mean, the lead acid battery, 100 amp hour leisure battery, you can pick them up anywhere from £85 to, you know, £150. Couple of £100, and, you know, you've got, you know, enough battery power to last you for what I need anyway. And they don't take long to charge up with the panels. If it's a nice day, I mean, it's a pretty grim, sort of grizzly day outside, and my panels at the moment, I've got my TV on and I'm drawing, it says here 4.4 amps. The panels at the moment are putting in 0.4 on one charge controller on 1.3, so maybe 2.5 amps I'm putting in, so I'm only taking 2.5 amps out. But when the sun's out, I'm not using any battery at all. It's literally just charging it up as it's going in, so I'm pleased about that. Anyway, getting back to the other things that I've bought, all the cables, everything else, like, I'll show you, because you need sort of like pretty heavy duty cables for the batteries and stuff. But I've got this thick cable. I'm only going to, I rated it for sort of like 1,000 watts, 1,500 watts. I'm not going to put any more through it, and this cable's more than adequate for that. Really expensive, super expensive. These were £8 each, the breakers. The fuse box, bits of wire, all odds and bits, you know, that you need like connectors and things. They were all they all come to about £120, you know. I mean, they're only cheap, you know. These were out of Screwfix, these little bus bar things. They're only a couple of pounds, so I got 2 of those. This was only, I think this was only about £4. The fuses were another £4. It wasn't overly dear. These breakers, these was £25 for both of them. These were for the solar coming in. These are like obviously for your battery and the charge controller. More sort of like an isolation switch than a breaker, but yeah. So they've all got their own separate breakers and things, but like I said, not overly dear. The DIN rail was only a couple of £1 for a metre of it, so I've got plenty spare if I ever need some more. The energy meter, that was £26. Good little device that, and I think in hindsight, if I was to buy another item, because I'm only using this for when I'm using the inverter, I bought one of these little energy meters. Now I thought I was getting a bargain second hand, and it was £35 with the shunt and everything else, but it was top money really. The bloke just got his money back on it. It's alright for showing me what I'm drawing, but I'd want something with a lot more information on it and something that I can, you know, go back to later. So if I was to buy another thing, it'd definitely be a better shunt. They do them on eBay for about £70 with a 300 amp shunt, because that's what you sort of need for this sort of power. Definitely get something with a bit more information on. It's all right, and it tells you everything you sort of need to know, but I prefer something with a little bit more fancier. So yeah, I'll definitely be getting another shunt. I'll just take you out to the panels. Like I say, it's a very grim day. Grim, wet, horrible. Typical English weather. But it is April, near enough April anyway. Right, and the panels, that's the eco-worthy 170 watt panel. That's the Renogy one, that was £60, and that was the one that come in the kit for £90 there. So there's 200 watts and 170 watts there going in. And yeah, back in the shed. Like I say, I'm just watching a bit of YouTube, and yeah, it isn't costing anything, which is great. Right, sit back down. So yeah, so that little setup there, if anyone's sort of thinking of doing solar, breaking down all the costs, just over £600. So yeah, a lot of money, but I'm going to treat it as a hobby, and for me it was dead money. So yeah, just by selling the stuff and buying something else, I've not really lost anything. So yeah, but an idea is £600 for what I've got so far, and to be honest, I probably will end up spending the same again on some more panels to put on this shed and some more batteries for storage. Anyway, I hope that's inspired a few people and hopefully they'll do the same. And if you're thinking of doing a solar shed, then yeah, hopefully it's a little bit of inspiration for you. Right, that's all I've really got to say, so I'll catch you all on the next one. See you later.